Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Talk Data to Me, the podcast where we break down AI, culture, world news, and the stories shaping our future, all through the lens of data. I am your host, Shahana. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like every time I open my phone, IG, whatever, there's another breaking news alert. AI is changing, the world is changing, music is changing, and honestly, sometimes it feels like we're all trying to drink from a fire hose with gasoline draws on. So today, instead of talking about everything and trying to focus on everything, let's talk about what actually matters. Let's get into it. AI and politics. All right. Obviously, we're going to lead with AI because that's what we do here at Talk Data to Me. Now, one of the biggest stories this week isn't about a flashy new chatbot or robot. It's about who gets to decide when powerful AI gets released. Now, I want to say this. I knew that if we had a president that was pro-AI, it's up and it's forever stuck. So OpenAI, and we do have a president that is pro-AI. So OpenAI has reportedly delayed the public rollout of GPT 5.6 while government officials review advanced AI systems. Now let's think about that for a second. A few years ago, tech companies built products and then released them. Now governments are saying, wait a minute, before you release that, we need to take a look. That's huge. That's a huge, massive shift. It tells me AI has officially crossed over from being just a technology story to becoming a national security story. And I think we're going to see more of this because AI is no longer just helping us write emails. It's influencing education, healthcare, business, military strategies, and even politics. So it's not so much as what can AI do, more so who decides when it's ready. Now, speaking of things changing, let's zoom out and talk about what's happening around the world. We're going to get into some world news, right? So this week, Europe is experiencing another intense heat wave. Several countries have recorded temperatures well above normal, and officials are issuing health warnings. Transportation has been disrupted in some areas, and people are once again asking, is this just like another hot summer, or are we witnessing something bigger? I don't try to get caught up in political debates. That's not my lane, I don't think. But here's what I always go back to, the data. Because that's what we can all connect to, right? Whether you call it climate change, extreme weather, or something else entirely, the numbers keep showing us that these weather events are becoming harder to ignore. And I mean, rightfully so, right? The last time we've had extreme weather cases, fires broke out, and I mean, a lot transpired around these things. So I think that this is something definitely to make note of. And that's why paying attention matters. Not because people are telling you what to believe, but because understanding what happens helps us prepare for what's next. Now I want to lighten the mood up a little bit. And I want to talk about one of my favorite things in the whole world, and that's music. So, welcome back to this musical data section. And one story that caught my attention this week is that Adele is reportedly back in Le Studio. Now, if you're an Adele fan, I am a fan of Adele. You know she disappears, lives her life, and then one day, boom, an album drops and everybody stops what they're doing. Definitely giving me superstar, I do what I want vibes, and you're going to accept it. She's one of those artists that doesn't have to flood social media every day to stay relevant. Sometimes less is more. And I think that when you're an artist, you have to find that delicate balance of when you can play that game, right? When I can post, I have to post every day. And I feel like when you're on your come up, you do that. And then once you've established yourself, I pop out when I need to. I'm definitely interested to hear what direction she goes next. Now, I've been listening to a couple of other albums, and one of the things I want to say, I finally got a chance to listen to Don't Be Dumb by A$AP Rocky. Now, I have been a fan of the Navy since the beginning of time. And like many Navy fans, you know, Rihanna, when are we getting the album? And then when I heard Don't Be Dumb, Whiskey specifically, you know, one can only surmise that a lot of his songs are about him and his relationship with Rihanna. So let's just say, for the topic of conversation, this song is specifically about them too. He had a line in a song, and I knew instantly, we not getting the album. We're not getting an album. And I know I said I'm going to be reviewing albums right this second. And Whiskey is one of my favorite songs off of Don't Be Dumb album, as well as Trunks. I just think that album is really, really dope. And it's one of those albums where it's like, oh, I didn't know you was coming like this, but since you're coming this way, I mean, I'm here for it. I've been a fan of A$AP Rocky long before he got with Rihanna, right? And I've always valued what he contributed to music. And I thought that, and I still think that it's not what you would typically expect of a hip hop artist. And I love that. I love when artists can take something and make it their own. And so I definitely recommend Don't Be Dumb. If you don't know who A$AP Rocky is, if you think that he's just Rihanna's, you know, partner, whatever, he's so much more than that. And I strongly encourage you to check out the album. Now, another album I want to chit chat about is Chris Brown's Deluxe Edition. Now, Brown was very different from any other Chris Brown album I've ever listened to, in that I know that when I've listened to albums in the past, you could hear like, oh, this is the single. This is that. I definitely got that from For the Moment. But the rest of the album felt very introspective. And I think that this is great for Chris Brown, right? He's been in the game for a couple of decades at this point. And so I think when you follow an artist, you follow their sound, their style, you don't want to say that you can predict it, but you're like, this is what they do, right? Because he dances. So you obviously got to have some tunes that you can dance to, right? And we get that. But then, like I said, it was very introspective to me. So there were other songs that Chris Brown, they like preview before the album dropped. And I was just like, when Brown dropped, I was like, dag, I like that song. And he eventually dropped it on Deluxe. What I recommend, listen to it. If you're a Chris Brown fan, it won't disappoint. Either projects won't disappoint. Again, if you're a fan, you understand that they're going to progress in a way, and they're you may or may not understand that journey. It's cool, but it's still a good work of art, both projects. So it's time for the CTRL ALT DREAM. Imagine waking up tomorrow and for one day, every notification on your phone disappeared. No breaking news, no trending hashtags, no viral clips, no endless scrolling, just silence. Would you feel disconnected? Or would you finally feel present? We now live in a world where information never stops. And it's always been like that. It's just the way in which we receive our information is quicker, right? But wisdom still takes time. The future doesn't belong to people who consume the most information. It belongs to the people who understand it. So maybe the dream isn't moving faster. Maybe it's slowing down long enough to think. Control Alt Dream. That is all for today's episode. We talked AI, we talked world news, we talked music, and hopefully we slowed things down just enough to make sense of all of it. If you enjoyed today's episode, comment your favorite segment. Was it world news, music, or politics? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with somebody who loves conversations about technology, culture, and the future. And let me know, what's one headline that caught your attention this week? Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and as always, keep talking data to me.